Thank you for joining us for the Thrive Thursday Masterclass. I am so excited to be the one who gets to introduce Dawn. Today, she is going to be talking about crushing the competition, 3 secrets to become an industry powerhouse. Dawn is a sales and leadership expert featured on CBS News and Minneapolis Star Tribune. With decades of experience in direct sales, she has taught hundreds of entrepreneurs how to build successful businesses. Dawn has guided the career growth of professionals in banking, law, and Fortune 500 companies. She now empowers women entrepreneurs in relationship based sales, personal branding, integrity driven leadership. Dawn lives in Mesa, Arizona with her husband Mark and their Shih Tzu Jade. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is an honor, that's for sure. And I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about my topic today. And for whoever is here, thank you for showing up because this is something that I'm very excited about. I talk about it a lot. So it's about crushing the competition, the 3 insider secrets to power up. Let me see. To become an industry powerhouse. And I need to move this. There we go. I think that'll work. And if it doesn't, I'm going to have to shrink you again. It's all slides. Okay, what I want to ask is a question. Okay, let me see. My mouse is not. So there we go. I'm going to have to do it a different way. So I am going to move this. What the question I want to ask is what would your life in business look like if you had unstoppable confidence? Unstoppable confidence. If you fully embraced your unique style, led with authenticity, and sold with integrity, what could you achieve that feels impossible right now? I want you to think about that. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the secret. And I'll give you a little background of me before I get started. And thank you, Ashley, for introducing me and saying all those wonderful things about me. It's always great to have somebody introduce you, but that's not all. Those are just the little funny and great accolades that I have. But I've been doing this work. Oh my gosh, yesterday I had an aha moment like, my business is going to be 15 years old this year. However, I've been doing this work for a lot longer than that. I am a former hairstylist, and from there, I was going to actually open up my own salon, but I didn't because I didn't have the passion for it. So what led me to what I do today is actually jump from possibly owning my own salon to researching products and things to put in my salon. And I fell in love with this direct sales company. And I jumped on board with that, worked my way up to a leadership position in that company, and I loved it. I truly loved it. However, I grew to a certain place in my career. In that place, got to a point where I got to where I wanted to go, and then all of a sudden everything fell out from underneath me. And I lost everything. I lost my car, I lost my team, I lost my income, and I lost my title. And I was just devastated. I couldn't understand why this was happening to me until I asked a friend of mine, why is this going on? Her name was Brooke. And I said, tell me, what did I do wrong? Because you get to a point where you don't know until it slaps you in the face. And she goes, do you really want to know? And I said, yeah, of course I do. And she said, you're not the same person you were 3 years ago. And I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, you're not the same person you were 3 years ago. You've changed. You're turning into Cynthia, which was my leader at the time. And when she said those words, and as hard as it was to hear, it was horrible for me. It felt like a dagger had just stabbed me in the heart. Like, oh my God, what do you mean? I had no idea I was changing. I was becoming someone else. Till you look in the mirror, you don't even identify with that person in the mirror anymore. You're going, oh, I lost my identity. I lost who I was. And now I have to figure out how I'm going to be, get that back again. So I had to do some homework with this. And what it came out all through this process, I knew that my next steps was going to be somewhere in the beauty industry. As you know, that I went from hair to skincare, makeup to now I'm a full-fledged image consultant, but still working with people, not just on image, but sales and leadership. And I knew what I wasn't going to be. I wasn't going to be that leader that led me. And so today, what I really want to talk about are these three keys, secrets to becoming an industry powerhouse. Whether you're in your own business, a direct sales business, you're selling a product, selling a service, you're in leadership, you are a leader, you're a solopreneur, whatever it may be, I'm speaking to you or a business owner. And my first secret here is how you must have a unique signature style. And why do I say that? You want to stand out amongst everybody else in your industry. You do not want to be at the standalone, or you don't want to blend in with everybody else. You want to stand alone. You want to be out there and you want to stand out, because if you don't stand out, nobody's going to see you. You're talking the same words that everybody else is talking. You look the same as everybody else looks, and you act the way everybody else acts. So how do you get to find your unique signature style? I have this picture of a woman here, and I found this picture, and when I use this picture because it's a good example of what I do. Is really what I do is I help people understand that if we can come up with 3 to 5 words that make you unique, then what I do is then you can step into that. And then what I do is I work on the outside piece also. So we work from the inside out, not just the outside in. And believe me, I've done that at the beginning of my career. I've done that. And I've learned from most of my clients that that's not the be all end all. There's always something going on in the inside that has to come out in order for you to step into this confident person that you want to be. So when I look at her, I mean, look at her. And if you can come up with 2, 3, 4, 5 words, type it in the chat. And Ashley, if you don't mind just saying those, if it comes up, and then I'm gonna kind of take that to the next step, because her unique style is for her. Now, can anybody wear this outfit? Oh, totally. You can wear this outfit, but is it going to resonate with who you are today? Probably not, because it's not who you are. So, Ashley, got anything for me?
Stylish, confident, business, sporty.
Love it. Anybody else?
And I would say that she is definitely confident, but she knows who she is. Like you get this feeling of like I'm here and I know exactly what I'm doing going forward. She's not timid, she's not hiding behind anything. She's just kind of like she's proud to be there.
I love it. Yes. And you are spot on. That is what your take is from seeing her. And this is what I've put up here. Edgy. And I get the edginess because of the leather. The faux leather that she's wearing. She had put the jacket with that black dress, and it's different. Confident, you said confident, because she does look confident with her arm on her side and her head is tall, her shoulders are back, and she looks like she's walking her talk. Independent. She's got a sense of independence to her where she's not listening to other people tell her who she is. She is who she is. And stepping into that. Unique, because not everybody can wear something like this and feel that confident. So I thought that was really cool too. And fun. I think she has a fun look to her. Something you don't see on everybody. It's like, haha, but she can pull it off. Fun in her hair, fun in the texture in her jacket, if you look at that. So that's what I came up with when it comes to your unique style. So I'm kind of curious. Do you know your 3 to 5 words? And do they represent who you are today? I'm going to share with you that if you don't stand out amongst the other people in your industry, things are going to shift for you, such as, well, I'm going to read this quote to you first. Everything communicates. Everything you do, everything you say, and everything you wear has consequences. It either strengthens or weakens the experience and opinions others have with you. You project who you are through your every touch point, and others evaluate you based on those interactions. Understanding this and taking ownership of the image you present is crucial. It's owning who you are and stepping into that. So there are problems if you don't stand up to owning your unique signature style. Once you have it, you're going to fall flat in some areas. One, it could hit you in your wallet. And the reason why I say that is because you attract fewer clients and earn less money. Now, ouch, right? Who wants to earn more money? We all do. So we want to be able to attract those clients to us. How about your message? Your words fall flat and fail to inspire and convince, which is really huge because a lot of us, I walk into rooms a lot, networking events, and I see women there for the first time. I've been there. I know I was one of these people. You go someplace for the first time by yourself and you're kind of going, I feel like I'm all alone. You walk in this room and everybody's in their little huddles and nobody acknowledges you. And this is one thing that I refuse to do for the rest of my life, is to let somebody walk into a room and feel by themselves. I am always aware of my environment. And if I see somebody that's standing there walking in, the first thing you do is look at your phone. Am I late? Am I early? Are you coming? Whatever, if somebody invited you or whatever. When I see that, I look at them and I go, hi, is this your first time here? Yes. How did you know? Well, of course. How did I know? You can tell right away. So make them feeling comfortable. But a lot of it is how you make people feel comfortable. And it's not just, it's you yourself. If you feel good in your own skin, you're going to make other people feel good in their skin, whether they're at the point you are or not. When I say your message, your words that come out of your mouth, who are you? What do you do? What do you stand for? And a lot of what I find with women is we don't really have a clear message of who we are and what we stand for and what we're doing. We kind of use mumble jumble words and they don't connect. And maybe somebody might say, I'll give you a good example. For instance, this happened years ago, and this actually came up yesterday too. It's fresh in my mind. Is if somebody stands on stage and says, hey, I'm an image consultant, and you look at their material that they hand out and it's on your tables, and they have a picture of themselves, and you look at that picture, and then you look at them on stage and you're going, there's a disconnect here. This picture does not look like this person. Again, that is a message right there. Is your picture is part of your message, not just your words, it's your image. Authenticity. You feel forced to put an act on, losing touch with your true self. Now, how many of us feel that way or have felt that way sometimes? Like you're an imposter. Like you feel like, I'm not sure about myself. And your confidence, without a strong brand or a strong image, self-doubt creeps in constantly because you're always playing with your clothes, always touching places, on your body that don't need to be touched when you're interacting with people. Maybe your bra doesn't fit. I'm just using it as an example, but and then you're fiddling with that, or your skirt's too short or too tight, or your pants are, you lost a button and you don't want anyone to notice. Just so you know, don't worry about people noticing, because if they notice it, so what? But most of the time they don't. We are the ones that notice it. So stop fidgeting is the biggest one right here. The good news is that you can change all of this by embracing your unique style, and it's time to show the world who you truly are. So stepping up and stepping out as the confident you are. Now, we all have our flaws. I do want to mention that. We all have our flaws, and those are great because I don't know anyone that's perfect. I've had people look at me, "Oh my God, you're just so perfect." And I said, "Where do you get that from?" "Well, your hair is perfect, your makeup is perfect, your clothes are perfect." And I said, "You know, this took a lot of practice. This doesn't happen overnight. I didn't look like this, you know, when I got out of my mom's womb. I didn't look like this when I was growing up. In fact, I'll tell you a little more of my story here. When I was growing up, I was a chubby baby. I was chubby growing up. I was a chubby teenager. Got teased a lot. Got called saddlebags, thunder thighs, a pear shape by a boy. Boys at that age, I'm going, how do you know what a pear shape looks like on a woman's body? That is just ironic. It just blew my mind. Like, what is that all about, right? I also acquired bulimia when I was a teenager and had that for quite a while. I never really went to the extremes of looking at it as I needed help. I actually got it under control and got clear of who I wanted to show up as. Went through a period of stress and I lost a lot of weight, and all of a sudden now I look like I'm anorexic. So my body shape has changed drastically over my years. And I mean, today I'm 62 years old and I feel good in my body and I'm a grandma and a great grandma. And you would never know. I know, but I'm proud of it and I love it. It's part of who I am and it's part of my identity, and I'm stepping into that. And I love to be a younger grandma, by the way, because of the fact that they can't pull one over on me. So so moving on. So that is part of my story. I'm going to tell you a story about Darla here. Now, Darla, she was an executive. She was in the C-suite. She was a COO. I get those C-suites all mixed up. When she came to me, she was in a male-dominated industry. She had this big title. She was very good and very smart at what she did. However, every time she'd go into a meeting, she'd get her ideas would get smashed by the males in the room. And you know, this wore on her for a long time, and she couldn't really figure this out until one day she goes, "I need to reach out." And when she did, I was doing more executive presence at that time. And so she found me online and she reached out to me. The first thing that most women had come to me back in the day was image. The first thing was, I want to fix my image. Okay. So that's great because we can do that. That's the first and the fastest plan of action to get you to feel confident in your own skin. So when we started working together, and she knew that she needed to have her voice in this male dominated industry, and she wanted to step out and stand out in the boardroom, and she also wanted to, you know, step into her title, obviously. So what we did a lot of work. We you know, did her colors, we got her style. I went and worked in her wardrobe. She had outdated wardrobe. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever heard back in the day where if you have quality clothes, they never go out of style. That's not correct. So I'm telling you that right now. Your clothes will go out of style. Every 10 years, you should be refreshing your wardrobe because your wardrobe needs to match who you are. Every 10 years, we go through a change, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s on up. So we went in there and I had to just, you know, I was very nice. I'm not the wardrobe Nazi. I don't go in and strip you naked or anything like that. I'm just really pretty honest about things. But you don't hire me to give you fluff. That's for sure. So what I loved about this is that when we started working on her and changing to who she was and her identity, and we came up with her words, which was to be more confident, obviously, to be more powerful in her own self, and to identify that she wanted to be more personable also, and just have that fun side of her. And she is a really fun person. To be in the C-suite and not be fun, that's a little stuffy. So we wanted to bring that out. And she went back to work one day and all of a sudden she stood up and she had this new outfit on and she looked the part, and all of a sudden people are noticing. It's like a big change happened. And needless to say, they started listening to her. they started paying attention to her. Her ideas were getting heard, and she was like on fire. And from there, she's also jumped into another career in another company and just made her way out there in the world. So I'm very happy to have helped her, identify who she really truly is. Okay. Here are some before I share this screen, because here are some before and after pictures of some people that I have done in the past. And I want you to pay attention to the one up here in the pink, because you're going to see her later on. Okay, so again, do you know what didn't change the screen, but your unique style words are? What are they? And if you can come up with your 3 to 5 words, great. If you struggle with them, that's something we can help you with. And then do you know what your personal brand style is? Do you know what that is? A lot of people don't even know, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I? My identity, all of that. Like I said earlier, I lost my identity. I was following somebody else and I didn't like who I was becoming. So you want to understand that. The second secret into becoming an industry powerhouse is climbing your way to the top. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to use the acronym CLIMB. You want to put your customers first. The client will always come first in everything you do in your sales career. And when you think about your sales career, are you out there just to make a sale, or are you out there to create a relationship? And in sales, it's really about mastering relationships selling. And if you can't master that, then you are not going to have clients for life. Clients will not come back. You're going to be one and done if you even get any. So by you listening and getting very in tuned about putting your customers first is important. You want to listen and understand. And I always say, listen intently, meaning don't just listen by looking them in the eye and then you forget half the things that they say. You need to open your ears, watch and listen to what they say, and read in between the lines of what they're not saying, because then you get to fill in the blanks of what they're really not saying, but they are, but they're not coming out with the words correctly. You got to listen to, what is it that they really need, and what is their biggest problem that you can solve? And if you can do that, you're on your way to having a great client. Identify and solve. Now you want to identify the problem that you just found out about. And here you want to be able to speak that back to them in a way that they understand that you understand. So if I said, Ashley, this is what I heard, and if you don't mind, I want to read this back to you. This is what I came up with. And then you get through your list and you go, are those things true? Is there anything else that I need to know? And then from there, you in your mind are going, I know I can solve this problem. And if you can't, just be honest about it. If it's not up for you, then you know somebody that it could be for. Pass it on, because you're just going to have a client that you don't want to work with, or you're not going to be able to be happy with them either. Excuse me, there's enough to go around for everybody. So share the love. Mentor and guide. When I say this, is you want to be a trusted mentor, somebody they can come to and lean on and go, hey, Ashley, what do you have going on today? Can I pick your brain about something? You said this a while back. I do this with my colleagues all the time. It's like, can I just pick your brain just for a little bit? I don't need you to give me free advice. It's just that I would love for you to, tell me if I'm doing this right, or, you mentioned this to me the last time, and I would really love to get some more information on that. Do you have time to set up, or just be there for them? Be that guide for them. I mean, the money comes if you can really put yourself into this. And building trust. Your clients will trust you when they know that you have their best interest. If you don't have their best interest, then you might as well forget it. You're going to lose a client right off the bat. so trusting. I don't know if you've ever worked with anybody before or ever met anybody before where they're in your face, they want to sell you something and they sell it to you, and then you got this icky feeling in your gut going, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I don't even know if I like this person. Years ago, oh God, I think it was in my 20s. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Kirby vacuum cleaner. And they went selling from door to door. Well, I didn't live in the nicest place, by the way. I lived in a very low income place. I had 2 kids at that time. I was, trying to make ends meet. And the Kirby vacuum cleaner guys come to the door, put on this great demonstration and everything. I'm going, dang, I really want this. I didn't have any money to buy it. Oh, but you can, put it on a payment plan. And I thought, oh, great. It's only $27 a month, right? $27 a month. You know how much that Kirby vacuum cleaner costs? 600 and some dollars. Do you know how long it was going to take me to pay that off? At $27 a month that I didn't even have. And needless to say, you could never return it either. And so I got stuck with it. I got stuck with it, and I ended up having to pay for that. No, actually, I think I went into oh, there's a whole nother story. I won't go into that, but I couldn't give it back, put it that way. So the climb method is what I use for my customers, and I teach my clients this too. Here are some problems if you don't use the climb method. You have unhappy customers, like I said, missed opportunities, because there's opportunities that you're going to miss out there that you didn't even know you had. Because if your client loves you, they're going to tell somebody else, right? Well, if your client doesn't like you, that's going nowhere. They're going to tell 10 people about what they don't like about you versus how much they like about you. So, and repeat business. You want repeat business. Keep them coming. How do you keep them growing and keep them in your pipeline? That's a big one right there. And if you don't have trust, they're going to lack trust in you everywhere you go. So you don't want that to happen either. So I'm going to ask you, do you know what your closing ratio is when it comes to your business? And if you don't, that is something you should know. And how many sales calls do you need to have to get a yes? Now, I know in most businesses, you do have to pick up the phone once in a while. And even if you are online business, I find that if you pick up the phone, I love getting phone calls from people I know. However, I don't always pick up the phone if I don't have a number. If they left me a message and they left me a good message, I'm going to call them back. But, you might want to pick up the phone and say, hey, hi, this is Ashley. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you. Make sure you're not trying to sell them something. Just, you have their best interest. Make sure you're interested in them. And it's not always about you. So my third secret is to become an integrity filled leader. So what is an integrity filled leader? Oh my gosh. I can tell you a lot about leaders. Believe me, I've had a lot in my lifetime. And that's why I choose not to be the leader that I had at the beginning of my talk here. So an integrity field leader is someone that actually leads by example. That's first. If you can lead by example and aligning your actions and your values with everybody on your team or even with yourself. If you're a solopreneur and you're by yourself, you're still a leader because you're leading your own business. But who are you and how do you want to be as a leader? So think about that. Being honest and transparent and trustworthy. Someone that builds relationships. Have you ever met somebody that has never built a relationship with you and they're all about selling you a product and in your face? Yeah. Someone that makes tough decisions. How many of you run into people that cannot make a decision for the life of them? You ask them, well, I don't know. What do you want? Well, if make a decision. Are you going? Are you staying? Are you, say no or yes? And commitment. Commitment is a huge one. If you can't commit, then why are you doing what you're doing? Don't even go there. If you have this is a really good example. It happens with our girlfriends too. If you set a date with a girlfriend and you're going to go out on Friday night, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. It happened to me. Um, and all of a sudden they call you up at the last minute because they don't feel good or they don't want to go, or they just thought, I'm going to stay home tonight and drink a glass of wine and sit in my pajamas. Well, you have this whole night planned. You've been talking about it all week, and all of a sudden they cancel on you. That's somebody that can't commit. I make commitments. I stick with my commitments. The only time I really ever break them is if I'm sick or ill, and that's got the honest to God truth. There's something happened, but I don't commit if I'm not going to do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Say no. You can't possibly be everywhere and do everything for everybody. You've got to stand in your own, um, in your own self, your own power, and stand up for yourself. So, and also inspires people. A good integrity leader inspires people. I've had some great, fabulous leaders in my life, and they've been amazing, meaning they were there for you. They listened to you. They had answers for you. They didn't wishy-washy around. They didn't say, don't call me. They're always going, call me if you need help. They're there. They have your back, and they're there to help you grow. So some problems problems if you don't become an integrity field leader is you do have the lack of trust. You have the lack of trust with people, the team that you're building, poor decision making constantly, because if you have poor decision making, you're just all over the place and people don't want to follow you. It's like, really, now you're here, now you're here, now you're here. Where are you? Be where you're supposed to be. A break in communication. How many of you had that happen where, everybody's talking behind people's backs because of the fact that they don't know what they're talking about, or they're not communicating appropriately to your team or to who you are. Again, missed opportunities is another one. So remember that lady in pink that I showed you? This is Katie. Katie had a huge transformation. When I first met her, she was a manager in her company, and she was in a tech company, and she moved into a supervisor role. And I can go back to that before and after picture, but I hope you remember that picture because her pink outfit is what she dressed like to walk out the door every day, to get on a bus and to get to work. And I found out just talking with her that that's what she wore all day long, even as a supervisor. So let me tell you, if you're moving up in an industry, if you're changing roles, if you're changing careers, whatever it is, your identity changes too. So what does that look like? She had to step into a supervisor role. We had to dress her appropriately for this new role. When you dress appropriately, you can step into it appropriately and lead with authority. Well, she wasn't leading with authority because her team didn't trust her. She was kind of one of these, she kids around a lot. She likes to she's kind of got this fun little personality, but people weren't taking her serious because she was being too wishy-washy all the time. I said, first of all, we have to communicate like a leader. You have to be kind of serious. You can't just be joking around all the time. And you do have to look the part so people know that you are the supervisor. If you look like everybody else that comes to work, how are they supposed to respect you and ask you questions and look at you for authority? So when we worked with her, amazing transformation for her. She started stepping into her role. People started trusting her again. She started getting appreciation from her team. And it was just a godsend. It was just a godsend. And thrilled, and she was making the money she wanted to make, because she almost lost her job too, by the way, because of people reporting her. And so she either had to step it up or be reported on, and she did. She followed through with everything that we worked on. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself when it comes to your integrity and ability to move people to action? When I say move people to action, that's what we are doing as leaders, is inspiring them to grow. And this is what I found in my years of being around leaders, is when you're in the corporate arena, if some of you have been in the corporate arena, leaders don't want you to grow because they don't want you to take their job. But if they realize that they're actually growing you to be a better person and to step into your strengths and help you with your weaknesses and see you like bloom, that is the best compliment you could ever get as a leader. Whether they stay with your company or not, whether they take your job or not, which I don't think they're out to take your job, they are inspired by you to go and be someone like you, but to be a better version and be a better version of themselves. So if you can help them and inspire them to be better leaders, you are filled with integrity right there. And that's what integrity is all about, is just helping people grow as leaders. So in review, we talked about how do you get a unique signature style by coming up with your 3 to 5 words. This is your blueprint for your image, both online and offline. And you want to have one that stands out amongst everybody else doing the same thing that you're doing. Climb your way to the top. Use the climb method to work with your clients by putting your customers first, listening to them, identify their and solve their problem, being that mentor and build that trust. And last but not least, become that integrity filled leader that moves people to action. You can tell I love what I do. I just can't get the words out. So what I'm going to do is offer you a gift today is my ultimate brand identity guide. And if you want to just put your name in the chat, and I can pull that up when we're done here. And it's a guide. And what it talks about is making your mark with your appearance, um, building your brand identity, communicate with confidence. And then it also has a before and after page in there with also 2 case studies of a man and a woman that I worked with. And just it knocks you off. It just I mean, it's ironic, the changes that I've had with my clients and stuff. So if you're interested in getting a copy of that, put your name in the chat and I'd be more than happy to get that to you. So there you go. And I am up for any questions if anybody has any questions. And stop share here.
No, everything that you were talking about was spot on. I mean, I really didn't come into who I am today until after I left corporate America. I was stifled as a woman in corporate America, and then I had my first kid, and then I decided to go out on my own and start my own business. And ever since then, I have been thriving. And everything is based on everything you said, plus the know, like, and trust factor. If your client or potential customer doesn't trust you or they can't communicate with you, they're not going to do business with you. You have
Right.
to set the foundation first before you try and build an entire city, you know?
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you're right. And you can't, not everybody is going to know, like, and trust you, just so we all know this. There's enough in the world to go around for everybody. And nor do you want to work with everybody because not everybody is meant to be working with you. You don't have the same values. And that's a big one right there is really think about your core values. And if they don't align, they're not going to align with you. And you're just going to be having a miserable time working with them. So, yeah. Anybody else, Kaylee?
Yeah, I know what you talked about in regards to just like having with myself, I did work in I would say equivalent to corporate America. My first I joke around and say my first big kid job or my first job out of college, which it really wasn't, but I was the youngest executive director in the state of Nebraska. I was the executive director for the Creek Chamber of Commerce, so I was a community leader at the age of 22 years old. And I had a mentor. So when you talked about climb, but in a different capacity, I had some mentors when I was in college that really took an interest in me because I took things much differently. I was like running my own business at college and etc. And she was the College to Career Center individual. Really told me, she said, Kaylee, she said, you have a bright future, but she said, in order for you to be taken seriously at such a young age, being a woman and etc., she said you have to dress the part, and that personal branding. Her biggest advice to me, which I still tell people today, she said, if you're going in a business meeting with a whole bunch of men that you know are going to be there and it's a big meeting, she said, you wear your heels. She said, you wear your business suit, your skirt, or your pants, and you show up looking to the nines, because she said, just like what you said too, if you dress confidently and you dress that you feel powerful. I love clothing personally, so I always love, even saying I love using that as an expression of myself. The joys of now being in athletics, you have to be a little bit creative. But she told me that advice as a senior in college before I got that career. And then she said, when you work with women, she said, if you walk in wearing that, she said, they're going to possibly think you're intimidating, and that you might not get the same results. So she said that's where you can, if you know you're to be in a room full of women, she said, wear your fun clothing, wear your flat heel or your flats. She said, wear some of the outfits that you don't get to wear all the time, but she said, dress to the room. And she said, because you'll get the energy, or you get the results that you want. I took that advice as a senior and applied it in my first career, and I'll be truthful, it worked every single time, because I had to work harder because I was younger, and I had people in the community. One person told me, he's like, yeah, I don't trust you because you're young. And my response was, you will, because I'm going to prove my worth. And it was really awesome. In that 4 years, the governor acclaimed my work, um, in my event planning skills. Also, the Food Network magazine. I was in the food. My event planning skills was in the Food Network magazine. Thank you. It was selected as Nebraska's Fall Pumpkin Celebration, Midwest Travel Magazine with 4 million impressions. And I left at the age of 25 to now do what I'm doing now as my own entrepreneur for my own dance and choreography business. But still, this day, even when I'm working in the athletic industry or in choreography and dance, I still think about that, of like having to look the part. And also too, if you want to be taken seriously, the first person who has to take themselves seriously is yourself. Because if you don't, no one else in the room is going to. And then when you take that ownership, I know I've had some life moments of that myself. And I love being able to share that with others that I work with, because it's a huge game changer. And then like what you said about your 3 to 5 words, if you have those powerhouse words, you can put like that you resonate with personally, it will resonate into your words and your actions and what you do. And like what you said, 2 and 3 will naturally come because of one.
Right. And
Sorry,
that,
that was a spiel, but amen to
no,
everything.
I loved it. I loved it. And I loved it coming from somebody that is in that younger arena, because of the fact that when I grew up, that's what I was taught, is how to dress, right? But we've somewhere lost our way.
Yes,
And
just
they
true.
went as casual, and this was before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then that went another way. So I mean, I even lost my identity then, to be honest with you, because all of a sudden I didn't know what we were going to do in the world. Everybody kept saying, this is our new norm now. What's our new norm? We're going to be talking on screen. So how do we show up on screen? That was another big thing too. So I think offline and online should match. And your social media platforms should match and play the role all the way across. Your voice, your confidence, all of that comes into play in here. And if you are not that confident person, I have an unstoppable confidence workshop coming up here next week, January 23rd. And it's here in Mesa, Arizona. If you're local, but if you sign up today, I think I'm gonna have Ashley put that into the chat. If you sign up today, you do get a discount price. It's originally $149, and just for being here today, you get it for $99. And Ashley, where are you located at?
I'm located right by Chicago in Illinois.
Okay, and Kaylee?
I'm all over the place, but this week I am in Parker, Colorado. Next week I will be in Nebraska, actually. So
Wow.
I am
Okay,
all over the place.
you're everywhere.
If I was local though, I would definitely be there, but I'm still copying and pasting everything. So
Okay, great. Share it with people that you know that might be in Mesa or Arizona, and that could use this, or maybe be inspired by it and come check it out. I'd love that. And I am so happy that you guys joined today. If there was one thing that stood out to you that you wanted to take away from today, what would that be?
I'm gonna say your acronym climb because I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Thank you.
I always feel like the refresher on the joys of HR, or I like to say also, well, you were saying the joys of that, and also the joys of January, where we have to kind of, I'm being honored when I say schmooze, but the joys of everyone after the holidays and being slightly grumpy. We're doing that right now. And so that was a good reminder, but also too, just, those reminders of just being that um that leader of integrity, and just again like always having your actions and words and values match, and surrounding yourself with people who are similar in that, and just even saying it, just it's always a good reminder.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Sounds like you're doing some great things, Kaylee.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you both for joining me today. I really appreciate this. And Ashley, you can say your last words here and let us all go, whatever you need to do.
Well, I appreciate everyone attending the Thrive Thursday Masterclass. I will be posting all of the links with this video when it goes up on YouTube. You can always catch the replay. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. I will also put the email in with all the links as well. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
ladies.
Bye.